Well, here we are back again with another tutorial. One of the most important things, if not the most important thing to learn when using the delineator is how to predict a slope change. Knowing when a slope change can and cannot occur is very important. So we see here that it's about 20 minutes to 11. It's Monday, August the 25th. And let's look at our numbers. We see that the slope is minus 29 and that the change, which is the change in the value of the slope from the prior bar to the current bar, is plus 70, and that's a direct measure of momentum. And that TTX slope, which is the time until the next slope change in bars, is less than 1 at 0.43. So provided signal weight remains positive here at plus 1190, could actually move around quite a bit there. But as long as it stays positive and doesn't reverse, we should expect to see a slope change at the next bar at 11 o'clock. Now why? Well, if the slope is minus 30 and the change is plus 70, then we can expect that the new slope value will be approximately plus 40. So let's bring in one of our tools that comes with the delineator, which is our stats calculator. Our stats calculator is a very handy little tool. It enables us to predict the value of the slope for each level in signal weight. And this is something that really differentiates the delineator from other methods. So if we use our slider, and remember whenever you use the stats calculator, always hit recalc. So we'll use our slider here and we'll drop down until we see X slope. So this tells us the amount of signal weight needed to affect a slope change during the current bar. So we see that signal weight is currently 1197 and that it would need to rise to plus 1800 for the value of the slope to be 0.25. And in fact, if we move our slider up here, we can see that at plus 1194, here's plus 1200, we see that the slope is 29.75. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So what we'll do is we'll wait a little longer here. Right before the end of the bar, we'll come back in and see how the numbers look. Okay, we're back on again. It's a little before 10 to 11. We can see that signal weight has risen up a little bit. It's now plus 1280. We see that the slope is minus 26 approximately, the change plus 74. TTX slope has gotten a little shorter, but it really doesn't matter. Once it's less than 1, we know that we'll get a slope change at the next bar. So we'll come back on in about 8 minutes. Okay, we're back. It's a little less than 2 minutes before the signal is generated. There are a variety of signals that the delineator puts out with respect to the slope changes. There's an early slope change signal, and then there's a slope change confirmation. So in this case, we'll get an early slope change up, which will register now at 11 o'clock. We see that our change is much greater than the value of the slope, so we can expect to see the slope value somewhere near plus 50. And then once the bar closes at the end of 11:30, provided the slope is greater than 0, plus 0, then we'll get a slope change confirmation. So there's an early slope change up, and then there's a slope change up confirmation. We would get the same thing for a slope change down, an early slope change down signal, and then a slope change confirmation would occur. Now we could get both at the same time, but we would need to see the early slope change occur during the bar, and then the slope change confirmation occur at the end of the bar. So we'll just let the program run here. We can see the signal weight has risen up a little bit more. It's plus 1271. It's now 10:59:10. I think my clock's running about a second off, so we'll just watch it here for a little bit. And what we'll hear is we'll see an arrow show up on the delineator line itself, and then an audio alarm will sound, a quite obnoxious one, and it was designed that way to get your attention. I love audio alerts, and there's additional audio alerts in the program as well. So we got another 15 seconds, so I'll keep my mouth quiet here, and we'll watch the signal come in. There's our signal. There's our obnoxious noise. We can turn that off. This little window is our SPY trade window. And we click stop sound, so we got rid of that. So now we see the arrow, and we see our new bar. We come over here, we can look at our slope is plus 37. The change is plus 63. If we bring in our stats calculator, and remember to always hit recalc, and we will see at what level of signal weight we will need at the close of the bar to confirm the slope change up. So again, we click recalc. We take our slider on the primary, move it down till we see X slope. And we see that if signal weight dropped to plus 520 from plus 1281, that the slope would be minus 0.45. So we know that if signal weight remains above plus 540 at the conclusion of the bar, that we'll get a slope change up confirmation. So we'll move this out of the way. It's just a minute through, so what I'll do is I'll pause the recording again, and we'll come in toward the end of the bar. Well, we can see it's 11:15. Signal weight's holding at plus 1279. Slope's plus 37 and the change plus 63. Well, we've got a few minutes here. I thought I would show people how our signal weight limit alarms work. We have the ability to monitor signal weight and use audio alarms to alert us when we've had a change. So for example, right here we see signal weight at plus 1275. So say we wanted to know if it went above 1280 or below 1265. So we'll put in our numbers, click use sound, hit save, hit reset limits, and now those limits are set. Downside limit achieved. And there we have our limit alarm that went off because signal weight dropped below the number specified at 1265. So this is very useful during the trading day. Typically I will use a 100 tick spread. So I'd put say signal weight at 1305 or say 1300. Oops. And then let's say 1225. And hit reset limits, and setting it up like that would give you an indication whether signal weight suddenly moved one direction or another, but I'd expect it to hold pretty steady here. So we'll come back on in about another 10 minutes or so. So we're back, and we've got just about a minute and a half until the slope change confirmation signal is generated. Taking a look at our numbers, you can see that signal weight's come down a little bit. It's plus 1164, was in the mid 1200s. Our slope is about plus 32, change plus 58. And in another 50 seconds or so, we'll get our slope change confirmation.
Attention, an alert target has been reached. Attention, an alert target has been reached. Attention, an alert target has been reached.
So there's our
an alert
slope change confirmation. We'll turn off the alarm. We can see that the primary has been colored green. The primary turns green for two reasons. Number one, the direction of the primary is confirmed by the direction of the secondary. Here's our secondary, and we can see that it's up. And when the value of the slope exceeds plus 75, the delineator turns green. So
100,000 share
the reason
buy
why it
spike.
turns, that was a SPY buy spike on the SPY accumulator, which is also running at the time. The reason why it turns green at plus 75 is because typically, like 99.9% of the time, when the primary slope is greater than plus 75, it does not turn back down during that day. And that, of course, is very important information to know. This tells us that any counter trend move in price during the initial phase of the cycle, which just started, will resolve back up in the direction of the delineator. So if we were to drop back down to, say, this level right through here, and provided signal weight was still positive, we would expect to see signal weight remain positive and price to go back up. So that's the tutorial for slope changes. It's best to watch the 5-minute, because for every slope change on the 30-minute, you're going to get 10 or so slope changes on the 5-minute, and it'll be a lot easier for you to learn it that way.